everyone, this is me Chandu and welcome back here again. Last 1 month I am not uploading any videos on my YouTube channel. That's why many of my subscribers actually message me on the Instagram and also the Facebook page. Why I am not uploading any videos? So after 1 month, Knowledge Doctor is back again. And in this one, we're going to make one cool project using Pygame and the computer vision. We're going to connect them Pygame and the OpenCV, and also we can create one project using OpenCV. We detect the phase and also count that how many phases is detected. That's mean we can count that the person is available on the frame. So without any further ado, so let's get started. So in order to build this project, you need to follow 3 steps. So in the step number 1, you're going to create one Pygame basic template. In the step number 2, you're going to connect Pygame and the computer vision library that's called OpenCV. In the step number 3, we're going to detect the phase and also count that how many phases is detected. So now let's create the Pygame basic template. So I create one empty Python file main.py. So now what I can do, I can import here Pygame. So let's import here Pygame. So after importing the Pygame, we need to also initialize the Pygame on our Python script, right? So let's say pygame.init. Okay, so this function actually helps us to initialize the Pygame on our Python script. If I actually run the code here, and you can see here Pygame 2.0, that is our version, and also my Python version 3.8.5, and you can see here hello from the Pygame community. That's mean my Pygame is actually initialized here. Okay, so after initializing the Pygame, what I can do, it can actually creating one window. So for that, what I can do, you can use pygame.display. So inside the display, what we have another method that's called set mode. So using this set mode, what I can do, we can actually give here the width and the height of our frame. So it actually take one tuple, and inside this tuple, you can give here your frame. Let's give here 1200 and the 700. Okay, and we can also assign into one variable that's called window, because this is our window, right? And after creating one window, you can also give here one caption, right? So for that, what I can do, you can use pygame.display.setCaption. Okay, the set caption is nothing but the application name or your frame name. Okay, so we can give here one string because it actually take one string. You can see here title. You can also give here one icon title also. Okay, by default it's none. So let's give here phase detection app. Okay, so detection app. Okay, so now what I can do, we can just run the program. Okay, so if I click here this run button, you can see Pygame window and phase detection app is coming, but it gone. If I run it again, see Pygame window, phase detection app, and it gone, right? So why it actually gone? Because you need to also catch them the event, right? So for creating the event, we need to actually creating one loop. So for creating the loop, we can use while. Let's use true. Okay, while true. Okay, while true mean this is one infinite loop. Okay, so in infinite loop, what I can do, we can actually get the event of the Pygame. So for creating actually getting the event in the Pygame, so what I can do, we can actually iterate to all the event on our Pygame. So let's say for event in pygame.event.get. So we're going to get all the event from our Pygame, and we can check them if the event is quit or not, because we need to also quit them the Pygame window. So if Pygame or not actually event dot type equal to Pygame dot see quit. If this is quit, so what I can do, we can break the loop, and also we can actually break this while loop, and we can also quit the Pygame, right? So let's say Pygame. Okay, this should be Pygame dot quit, and also we can break the loop, but this is, you can see here, true. So let's assign into one variable so that we can actually change it, right? Let's say start equal to by default is true, right? So start equal to true, and we can just replace it. And after when I click this cross button of the window, so we can actually make this start should be false. Okay, so let's say start equal to false. Simple. So when I actually click the cross button, it will gone. And also we need to also update the Pygame here, right? So let's say Pygame dot, we can actually update the display, right? So let's say Pygame dot display dot update. Okay, we need to actually update the display. And also what I can do, we can actually creating one frame per second. That's been how many time it actually comes up, right? So let's run it right now. After that we can actually add it here. So let's run it now. And you can see here phase direction F, and you can see here frame is stable. When I click this, it will gone, but we got one error. Pygame.display.update video system is not initialized. Okay, again just run it. Now if I click this button, and you can see here no error. That's mean our code is working fine. So now why I am actually talking about the FPS, that's in frame per second, because we're going to connect here the OpenCV. So when I connect the OpenCV, you need to also connect the FPS, that's in frame per second. My frame per second of the camera is nothing but 30. In your case, there should be 60. Okay. So now our basic template is created. That's been the Pygame template is created. But if I run this code again, you can see here one black screen, right? So you can also change the black screen. So for that, what I can do, we can use this window, right? We can use this window. So let's say window dot, we can actually fill with some color, right? So window dot fill. So it will take one color, and the rectangle is not right now none, and the special flag is right now 0. So I'm not actually discussing about that. I'm just focusing on the color. So let's say give here one color. So let's give here 50, 50, 255, like that, any kind of color you can give here. Just run it, and it will change the color, right? You can see it, the changes color, and the color is right now, you can see here blue color, right? You can change any kind of color, but we are not actually using any color. We're going to use one picture here, right? So how can you actually use one picture on here? So for creating the picture, you need to also load the picture, right? So for loading the picture, we can use pygame.image.load. So inside that, what I can do, we need to actually give here the path of the images. If I go here, you can see here we have one images, bg image 1, bg image 2. There's two images that is inside my folder. So you can actually using these images. So for that, I am going to use the image, let's say bg image, which one? Let's say image 1 and png. And also we need to convert them. You can also, it's up to you, you can convert or not. Okay, if you actually make it convert, if your image should be png, you can use this convert, and your image should be looks good, right? So let's assign into one variable, so let's say image. Okay, so now we can actually using this image on our window, right? So for actually showing the image, so we can use one property in the Pygame window, that's called window.bleed. Okay, and inside this bleed, you can give here the source. Okay, so for our source is nothing but our image, right? And our destination, that means where it will actually start, from where it actually start, 0, 0. Okay, from the top. Let's save it and run the code. And you can see here the picture, right? You can see that right now picture is loaded. So if I using this fill color, after that, let's see, if I run it now, you can see it, image is not shown up. Why? Because Pygame actually using one data structure that's called stack. That's mean top of the stack it will show. That's mean when you are trying to actually show the frame, you need to actually give it in the last. Okay, so we load our images, right? We load our images, and our image load should be good. Let's use the Pygame bg image 2. Okay, and this our bg image 2, and you can see Python icon and OpenCV icon, and also the Pygame icon also. Okay, and you can see here phase direction F, that's our caption, right? So our basic template is created in the Pygame. So now what I can do, we can connect the Pygame and the computer vision library that's called OpenCV. So let's try to connect them. Okay, let's close it now. So for that, what I can do, we can import here cb2. Okay, and also create one video capture object. So let's say video equal to cb2.video capture. Okay, let's say capture, and inside it I'm going to pass here 0. Why? Because I'm actually using my default webcam. I have just one single webcam on my PC. So if you have multiple number, you can actually give here the webcam number, right? So now what I can do, we can actually read the frame, right? So for reading the frame, it's simple. So let's say read frame equal to video dot read. Okay, so we read the video, right? Cool. But how can we show them? How can we show them? And also OpenCV read the image in the BGR format, that's in blue, green and the red. But Pygame is not supported the BGR. So for that, what I can do, we can actually convert this frame into RGB. So for that, what I can do, we can use image, let's say assign it to one variable that's called image RGB, and you can use cb2.cbt color. Okay, this color, and inside that, what I can do, we can give here one our frame, that's been our actual frame, and also we can give here one color code. So in cb2 there should be some color code, let's say color, okay, color bgr to RGB. Okay, this one bgr to RGB. So now our frame is converted into RGB, right? So now what I can do, we can actually show it. So for that, what I can do, we can simply use this one window.build and just paste it, because this is our actual frame. And after that, we're going to actually using our this image RGB. Okay, so let's copy this out and just paste it on here. And also let's start it from some coordinate, let's say 280 and 95, because I already experiment on that on the middle. Let's run it round and see if we got any error or not. Okay, we got one error. See, argument 1 must be given pygame dot surface, not numpy and the array. I think you understand why it is not showing. Okay, see, we read the image, right? Read the video. Okay, but we also convert them into BJ to RGB. But this is one video. This is one video, and video is nothing but one numpy and the array. So we cannot give here one numpy and the array. So you need to also make them in a surface. So in order to make the surface, Pygame actually help us to convert this video frame into one Pygame surface. So for that, what I can use, we can use Pygame, let's say Pygame dot surf, surf, surf array, because this is one array, surf array dot make surface. Okay, surf array dot make surface, and it will actually convert it into one surf array. Okay, that's surface, right? So you can actually pass here this image RGB, and after that we can convert them. So for that you can use convert, this convert, right? And now assign into this variable, just paste it and save it the file and just run the code. Now let's see our camera is opening or not. Okay, just a while. Yep, our camera is opening right now, but the angle is not good, right? Because the angle is not right now is not good. So you need to rotate them. You need to rotate them into 90 degrees, right? But camera is okay, fine. So let's also rotate them in the 90 degree angle. So for that we can use numpy, because in numpy there should be one function that's called np.rot 90. So you can use this numpy, because our image is nothing but also one numpy array. That's in our video, right? So you can also rotate them in the numpy array, and our video should also be rotated in the 90 degrees. So for that np dot we can use rot 90, and after that we can actually pass here this image RGB and also assign into the variable that's called image RGB. So now if I save it and run the code, and our camera is opening, right? But it will gone. Why? Access 01 out of range of an array and dimensional, right? So you got an error. Okay, so you got an error. This error is actually coming up. Why? Because we need to rotate them. We need to rotate them frame after making it surface. So for that, we need to actually just copy this and paste it above the surface, and our error should be gone, right? Just a while it will open in the Pygame window. See, now it looks good, and our unit is opening here, and you can see here The camera is right now opening, and now what I can do, we can detect the faces, right, and also draw some rectangle that is shown in earlier in our demo, right. So for that, let's draw the rectangle in the Pygame. So Pygame have the library, not actual library, some classes to actually creating the rectangle. So for that, what I can do, we can actually draw one rectangle on the above the frame and also the below the frame. Okay. So I'm going to paste here one code. So let's paste here one code. This is for actually creating some rectangle. So pygame.draw.rect, it actually create one rectangle, and it is really easy. So we need to create the rectangle on the window, and this our color code and this green color code. And also this is have the positions. This is the x coordinate and also the y coordinate. You can also adjust them, right? And you can also give here some border radius on the top left and the top right and the bottom right and the bottom left. Okay, so you can actually experiment on this coordinate value because this is the point that's been your position of the frame. Okay, that's in position of the rectangle. So I actually experiment on that and I found that this point. Okay, so let's save it now and just run the code, and you can see here one, what do you call, one rectangle, a top and the left. Okay, we don't get it right now, but why? Let's check this out. Okay, we need to actually using this rectangle. Okay, using this rectangle after that, right, after that, and I think now it will work. Let's run the code and see that the output. Okay, cool. So you can see here we actually get two rectangle, right, this one and this one, and you can see here also some radius, right, 10 border radius, and it looks really cool. So now we need to detect the faces and also count that how many faces is detected, and we need to also print it out on here. So let's right now close it, and you can see here we have one hard cascade frontal default.xml file. So now we can actually using this file to actually detect the faces, right? So for that, I'm going to use this cb2.cascade classifier. So cascade classifier, and inside this we need to give here our cascade classifier name. So let's rename it and just copy this one and also close it now and just paste it and .xml, and let's sign into one variable that's called face detect. Okay, right, cool. So now we're going to actually using this face detect to detect the faces. So for that, what we need to do, we need to first, what do you do, we need to first create one variable, let's say gray. We need to also convert them into the grayscale mode because this cascade actually using the grayscale mode for the training, right? And if you actually convert them into grayscale mode, and detection should be clear. So let's say cb2.color. Okay, and inside that, what I can give here, we can actually give here the frame, this frame, and we can actually give here one color code because OpenCV did the image in a BGR format, and we need to also convert the BGR to grayscale, right? Grayscale. And after that, we need to also detect the face, that how many faces detected. Let's say faces equal to face detect detect multi scale, and inside this you need to give here our frame and also some value standard deviation and this one, and also we need to also iterate to all the faces from here. Let's say face in faces, and also what I need to do, we need to also create one rectangle. Let's say cb2.rectangle. Okay, rectangle, and inside this rectangle we need to give here the image. So that's our frame, and also the point, let's say x comma y, and also x plus w and y plus h. If you have any confusion on that, you can actually follow my, okay, this is not faces, you can follow my face direction web app video also, because I will discuss about that. Also you can follow my face direction video also, and you need to give here one color. So let's give here 50, let's say 50, and let's say 255. This is our red color, right? And also one thickness, let's give here 2 as a thickness. Now let's save it and just run the code and see that our face is detected or not, right? Okay, that's cool. You can see our face is detected correctly. And now what you need to do, you need to also count that how many faces is detected, and also we need to also show it on here, right? So let's try to do that right now. Okay, so for counting that how many faces is detected, it's really simple. If we actually take the length of these faces, we actually got the number of faces is detected. That's how many faces is actually detected. Okay, so for that, what I can do, we can actually using this length of the faces, and also we can show it on our Pygame window. That's mean we create the rectangle, we can actually show it. Okay, so for that, what I can do, we can use one font variable in the Pygame. So let's say Pygame dot font. Just we can take one font. Okay, we can take one font, and let's give here none right now, and you need to give here the size of the font, and let's sign into one variable that's called font. So after signing into the variable that's called font, we need to also create one text. So for creating the text, we assign into one variable that's called text, and you can use pygame dot render. Okay, we can actually give here the text, right? So our text should be face detection, and let's use one format specifier, and let's say face detected, right? And use here dot format. This is really easy, and this is simple Python. And now we need to give here the length of the faces. That's mean how many faces is detected here, right? Length of the faces, and this the first, and this is cool, and this is the for this one, and length of the faces. And now what we can do, we can use the in the render. Let's see. We need to give here another one that's called true. This is by default, right? And also give here one color, right? So let's give here white color. Okay, that's our text, right? And now what we can do, we can actually show the text, okay, on the top of the window. Let's say window, and now what we can do, we can use this text. Okay, so window dot build, and we can actually using this text. And after that, what I can do, we can actually give here the position. Let's give here 320 and 350. Okay, 50. And let's copy this out because you need to show it after this image, right? This image RGB, and after that, right? Cool. Just save it now, and let's try to run the code here and see that that is face is detected or not. I also count that is okay. We got one error, right? So what kind of error? Pygame has no attribute renderer. Okay, render. Okay, cool. Oh my god, we actually got this error because this is font.render. It's not pygame.render, right? Just run the code now. Sorry for this mistake, because you actually render the font, right? So now our camera is opening, but the problem is text is not appear. Why? Let's see that what error that he got. Okay, it's not actually showing up because you need to show it after the rectangle, right? Because you create the rectangle, and after the rectangle it will show, right? Because it will follow the data structure that's called a stack. So after creating the rectangle, we can actually give here the text, right? So that's why you got this error, and our text is not showing up. And if I run the code now again, and it will open the camera, and now boom, you can see a face detection, one face detected. Okay, I think this should be on the after the colon, right? Now let's try to use this one. So if we actually run the code again and see here, our front is not looks good, right? If we run the code again and see face detection app, you can see it detected the face correctly, but also count that. But the problem is our font is not so good, right? Sometimes it's called the two face detected. It actually my webcam problem. Webcam is not so good. That's why. So what I can do now, I can using one font. I actually download this font from the Google font. You can also download this font from the Google. Okay, and let's rename it and copy this, and let's try to use this font here. So for that, instead of using the noun, we can actually give here the font name dot ttf, right? This font. Now let's save it and run the code here and see that how the output actually look like. Oh, that's cool. It's detect the face and you can see the face detections and one face detected. That's really cool, right? And you can see one face detected and our code is right now completed. You can also do some designing here. I am not actually trying to do that right now. I actually do this already in my face detection web apps using Flux. So I'm just copy the code here to creating some lines and it looks good, right? Let's actually close this right now and try to use that, right? So now let's pass the code that actually copied out from the face detection web apps using Flux. And this is nothing but for some styling. You can actually follow my this video. And now if you run the code here and just run it, and you can see here some line is actually created and it looks really good, right? See, it looks really good and like camera is actually, and you can see one face detected. So let's come here, man. I have also one friend with me. You can see when the face detected, just sit on here, right? Okay, I do detected because the camera problem. And you can see here two faces detected and you can see here, man, let's remove this, right? And you can see here two faces detected, face detected, and really cool. You can also test it up here with some another image also. Keep a smile, man. Okay, so that's really cool. You can actually use this to actually make this project, and you can also see that how can you connect the Pygame on the OpenCV. That's really awesome. So now let's test it with some another picture, right? So now let's test it with some another picture also. So let's use this picture and see that how many faces detected, and you can see here 8 faces detected, and you can see that's really cool. Sometimes it's calling 9 because this is my actual problem of the webcam. That's the problem, but it detected, and you can also test it with another picture also. Let's try this out. The picture, okay, see 15 faces detected. That's really cool and awesome, and using this you can actually build it. And what actually learn on this tutorial, we actually learned that how can you connect the Pygame and also the OpenCV, and how can you actually building one awesome application. So that's it for today now. So in the upcoming video, we actually trying to make some awesome projects using some Pygame and also the Python and also the machine learning. Okay. Oh, I am forgetting about the FPS. That's mean if you have any camera with the 60 FPS, so how can you actually manage them? So in Pygame, actually you connect the OpenCV and also the Pygame. So that's why you need to also maintain it, okay, right? That your FPS of your camera. So for that, what you need to do, you need to actually using pygame.time.clock, right? So for that, I'm going to use here pygame.clock, okay, not clock here, time.clock. So this clock is actually taking the FPS, this means frame per second, your camera. So in my case, my webcam FPS is 30. If you're in your case, that should be 25 or the 60. So you can actually manage it from here. So let's assign into one variable that's called clock, and also take one variable that's called FPS. So let's make it 30. Okay, it's up to you. This your webcam. I'm in my case, my webcam is right now 30. So you can actually set it on here. So let's say clock dot tick, and just you need to pass here the FPS. Simple, and it will manage this FPS of your camera. Okay, you can change this 25, 60. That's it. Okay, so you need to just change this code here. You need to actually initialize here pygame.time.clock and assign it to one variable. Then I also initialize the FPS, right? So that's it for today now. Now it is cool. So that's it for today now. You can got all the source code and the material as a GitHub link in my video description, and there should be one password. And the password is face detection app in a lowercase letter. So thanks for watching this full tutorial, and you need to subscribe the channel and also share it with your friend. So thank you and bye bye.